In this video, I'll give you a brief tour of PDFix Desktop from within the document view. We've also made another video providing a tour of the dashboard view of PDFix Desktop as well. But in this video, we will navigate around the PDFix Desktop interface from within a document. Starting at the very top, we have the typical tabs that we usually have in applications such as File, Edit, and View. And then just like in the dashboard view, we have the Actions tab where we can run actions from here, and also the Help tab where we can check out validation profiles, for example, and our various settings for the application. There's more information on that in the video about the dashboard view of PDFix. In the next row in the toolbar, there's the Home button, and if I select that, that brings me back to the dashboard view. And then there's Save, so when I've made changes to my tagging or other stuff in the document, then I can hit Save. There's Find, where I can expand this and search for text in the document. Then there's some navigation buttons for going to the next page, going to the previous page, next view and previous view, and so on. And there's also the functionality to just enter what page you want to navigate to. So for example, I could just type in page 1 and it takes me back to page 1, or type in 2 and it takes me to page 2. Very, very helpful in a long document when you want to just go straight to page 100. Just type in 100 and it'll take you there. After these navigation options, there are our selection tools. The default is the kind of little arrow icon, and then there's a tag selection icon as well. When I choose that one, the tag tool, then when I select content in the document, it will select the tag, and it will even show me where in the tag tree that content is. The default tool is the one that we're going to use most often when we want to select things to then tag it, or maybe add it to a template, for example, or whatever. And then there's the object tool if we wanted to select the object. Notice that this isn't showing me in the tag tree where it is now, but this is, for example, so that I can find out formatting information about this object, or for example, add to the template easily or tag it as something. And then there's the hand tool. This just helps us to navigate through the document that way. We can scroll. You can use the hand tool to navigate as well. And then there's the table tool. So for example, if I needed to tag something as a table, one way to do that, I selected the wrong thing there. One way to do that is to draw a box around what should be tagged as a table, make any adjustments that need to be made, and then tag it as a table. We'll cover that in more detail in other videos and resources on tagging tables. Then there's some other page navigation, fit to page and fit page width, and zooming, and so on and so forth. Zoom in, zoom out in the document view, and so on. In the next row in the toolbar, there's a hamburger menu, the 3 dots, and that will provide some options for actions that you can run. Right? There are a number of ways in PDFix to be able to get to the actions that you might want to run. So from that hamburger menu, that's one way to do that. But also, the other buttons going across the toolbar here are to run other actions as they fit into the categories, if you will. So the accessibility actions, there's AutoFix and AutoTag, and AutoTag using some of the AI templates, or create layout templates, fixing the parent tree or the ID tree, for example. There's QuickFix is another accessibility action that can be run, or make accessible. Those actions are available from the toolbar, and of course, as I mentioned, by category, so we can run actions on annotations that might be in the document, or for bookmarks, we can create bookmarks or delete bookmarks, and content, and so on, right? Conversion to convert to HTML, convert HTML to PDF, etc. We can run actions to fix fonts from the toolbar. If you have custom actions that you've made or have been sent to you and you've imported, those are in your general folder of the actions, then you'll find those under the general tab. And then the metadata actions, if you need to run OCR, you can do that from here. Pages, so actions that can be run on pages. Some table actions, for example, fix table tag, set table summary, use AI to set a table summary as well. And then actions that can be run on tags. And an important thing to note here is for these actions, so for example, these actions that I can run on tags, it's important to note that when I choose an action from this toolbar at the top, the action will be run on the entire document, right? So for example, I have a custom action for linearize table. If I run that from here, it will linearize or flatten every table in the document, right? So you want to make sure that if you want to run an action and apply it to the entire document, you can do that from the toolbar, or otherwise you may need to select a tag, and then when you run an action on the selection, then it would only be run on that tag that you had selected, or those tags if you select multiple tags. And then also the last button in the toolbar here for the actions is validation. So you can choose to validate using your default profile, or you can validate with and choose a different standard. So for example, if your default is PDF UA1, but you want to test against WCAG 2.2, you can select that from here and then validate as well. You can also test against the Arlington model and get that report in either HTML or XML, and you can generate your validation reports. After running your validation, you can get your reports from here as well. Going down the left-hand side of the user interface now, the first button is for the page thumbnails, right? So this will show you thumbnails for the pages, and then of course you can select those and navigate more quickly to those pages as well. For every button on the left-hand side in the context menu, there will be some functions that can be run that are in context with the panel that you're on. So for example, the page thumbnails, then there's delete, or you can rotate pages, for example, zoom in, zoom out, and so on. Notice that you can click again on the button to hide these panels as well. The next panel is for the bookmarks. So when I navigate there, then we can see that there's bookmarks in the document, and again, we could add bookmarks, we could delete bookmarks, and so on. Again, there's the context menu also. The next panel is the content panel. So this is showing the content that's in the document and all of the various containers, whether they're artifacts or H1s and so on. Again, the context menu provides some functionality here, and we can also run actions using the arrows. We can run actions on a selection. So for example, I have an H1 selected, and then I can run an action on that selection if I wanted to. I can also change the views that I have in the content panel. So for example, we can show artifacts or toggle that off, and then it hides what's been artifacted, and it's only showing me now what's been tagged. And toggle that back on. I can show unmarked content. In this document, I don't have anything that's not marked. Everything is in a container, so toggling that on or off won't change the view much here. But then also to show tagged content, again, I can toggle that on or off. So now I'm seeing just the artifacts, and then when I toggle that back on, I can see, for example, that now here's my H1 and my paragraph tags and so on. And then the little eyeball on the right-hand side of this kind of sub-toolbar is for the properties, which will open or close the properties panel below the content panel or in other panels as well. Continuing on, we have the annotations panel next. if there were annotations in our document, maybe link annotations or form fields, for example, those would be organized here by page. This document doesn't have any annotations in it, but this would be where the annotations would be found. And then, of course, we could select annotations or run actions against all of the annotations in the document. Again, we could do that using the buttons at the top of the toolbar for that panel to run actions on annotations, or again, there's the annotations actions up in that toolbar that we just toured through a second ago. Continuing on, the next panel is the tag tree, right? And so here's where we can actually see the tagging that has been done in this document. The next panel is the layout recognition panel. When you bring a PDF into PDFix, it's going to just automatically kind of analyze the document and see what's there and kind of figure out, if we just ran the generic algorithm to auto tag this document, for example, it would use what it sees here in the layout recognition panel and tag basically everything as paragraphs or the figure. It would artifact the lines because the algorithm is smart enough to know not to tag a decorative line. But then we would have tables for various parts of the document, right? This is, again, if we just ran the generic auto tag. The layout recognition panel can be very helpful, for example, when you're starting to build templates and so on. We'll get more into that in other resources, but this is just a quick overview of what the layout recognition panel is and does. And then finally, on the left-hand side is the font panel. So we can navigate there and we can see what fonts are in the document. And for example, we can check the Unicode mapping for various characters, right? So if there's issues with ligatures, for example, that we often see with FI or TI, for example, then you can fix Unicode mapping as needed, right? So oftentimes in those ligature situations where there's an F kind of attached to the letter I, or maybe two F's in a row, it might only show as one letter in the Unicode mapping, and then you can easily just click in here and change it to what the correct Unicode mapping would be. In that case, it would be two letter F's or a letter F and a letter I, for example. Here's where we can fix our Unicode mapping. All right, that's the left-hand side of PDFix desktop from within a document. Now we'll go over to the right-hand side of the user interface, and there's some quick buttons at the top. First of all, there's Find. You can find actions or help, or there's also the Help button. You can click that, and then you can click on various things, for example, to learn more about bookmarks, for example. I could select that, and then it would give me a link to information on in our user guide about bookmarks, right? So then there's some quick actions at the top. Again, there's a number of ways that we can get to run actions. So here's AutoTag, make accessible, QuickFix, and then validate. You can also expand a menu here, and you can add additional actions to this quick toolbar. So it's another way to kind of customize the software and put buttons more easily where you want to get to them to speed up your efficiency in your workflow. Then we have a number of panels on the right-hand side, starting first with our template panel. If I hit the buttons twice, it'll open the panel. Again, we'll close it. But we're on the layout template panel now, and there's some various parameters and so on that we can see that have been set. If we want to run the Preflight template to tag our document, for example, or if we wanted to use one of the AIs, then we could load those templates before we auto tagged the document, for example. And of course, you can open templates from here. You can create templates, you can edit templates, and then you can save them, and so on. Or you can also delete templates as needed. The next panel down is the accessibility panel. This is the one for tagging, right? So for example, if I select some content in the document, then I can tag it as something. By default, you probably will have fewer buttons if you've just downloaded PDFix. There might be fewer options in this list. However, in the other video about finding your way around the dashboard, we talked about the help and the quick access tags in the settings and in the preferences to make more tags available, and also how to add keyboard shortcuts if you need them. But this is the panel where you could select something and then tag it. You can also, for example, check role maps for custom tags. You can create role maps, you can delete role maps, and so on. And similarly for class maps, as needed, you can create class maps, delete them, and so on. The next button down brings me to the validation panel, and I can validate from here. So using the first validate button would test the document against my default validation profile, which mine is set to PDF UA1. However, if I wanted to test against a different standard, I could expand the menu and test against WCAG 2.2, for example. Right? This is very, very similar to the validation button at the top in the toolbar. We could expand that, validate with, and choose different standards there. Right? So again, there's more than one way to get to the functions that you want to get to. The next button down is for the conversion panel, and here, if we wanted to convert our PDF to HTML or to or HTML to PDF or whatever, this is another place where we could run the conversions in addition to using the conversion actions button at the top of the toolbar on the left-hand side. The next panel down is the kind of the information panel. When I select, for example, the letter V in the document in the word invoice, it shows me, for example, the font name and the font size. It shows me the color, right? So if I need to get colors to then adjust colors for contrast, right, then I can check on what the color is and then put that into the action to change the colors and so on. I can also get various bounding box information, and I can copy this, for example, if I need to then use it in my template building. The next panel is the browser button, or the browser panel, and this gives you the deep dive into the actual code of the PDF. So for example, if you run an Arlington model validation and you find some issues in the actual structure of the PDF itself, you may have to go to the browse panel and then dig into things so that you can fix those kind of internal issues that maybe the Arlington validation found and flagged. The next panel is for destinations, and this would be used, for example, if you wanted to create link destinations to somewhere else in the document. So for example, I could select invoice here and copy this destination, and then over in the tag panel I can go over down to the last paragraph tag in the document, and I could create a link to that destination. And then we've added a link to the document. Here's the object reference. That's the clickable part of the link. And when somebody who's reading the PDF clicks on that link, it would take them back to the H1 that we used for our destination. Right, a little bit on destinations. And then last but not least is the actions panel. And so this is just another way to be able to run actions. So from here you can select the actions panel and then open up the drop down menu and find the actions that you want to run and then select it. For example, I had selected delete empty tags, and then we can check the various parameters and values and make any adjustments if we need to before we run our action. So hopefully this helps give you a quick little tour of PDFix Desktop from within the document view. Of course, we're here to help. If you've got questions, reach out to us. If you're in Europe, reach out to us at support@pdfix.net. And if you're in the US, reach out to us at sales@pdfix-us.com.